Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Silent Core and welcome back to my weekly countdown series. Now today I'm going to be answering probably the most common question that's asked in GT Online, and that's how can you make money? I'm going to be sharing my top 10 personal and best money making methods in GT Online, and especially towards some of the higher end methods I'm going to be showing you exactly how much cash gain you can make per hour and sharing lots of different tips, tricks and strategies for how you can actually maximize your profitability. So if you want to be a millionaire in GT Online and don't want to risk any glitches or bugs or getting banned, this is the video for you. At the number 10 spot is to complete the flight school training methods. The only requirement to do this one is to be at least rank 6, and I'd assume most of you guys, unless you've just started playing GT Online, you will already be rank 6. But if you head over to Flight School, there's actually 10 different lessons you can take, and each one will net you $18,600 if you get a gold medal at it. So if you're pretty good at flying and you manage to get a gold on them all, that's actually a total of 14,000 RP and $230,000 you'll be getting. Now the only downside to this method, and I'll be pretty honest with you guys, is these missions are hard. Getting a gold can be very tricky, especially with some of the later ones, so be prepared to play this one over and over and over to get that gold. So it's not a very quick way to get it, but if you are persistent, you can make yourself some really easy money at the start of the game and get yourself a nice sort of kickstart into GT Online. And if you are new to GT Online, basically you want to make your first $1 million as quick as possible, so this is a great way to get some starting cash. At the number 9 spot is to play the featured adversary modes. You'll actually get double RP and double cash when you're playing them and the featured time. I'll be honest, some of the adversary modes are a little bit more playable or a little bit more fun than other ones, so it probably depends on what actually is the featured adversary mode. But Rockstar are absolutely loving their adversary modes at the moment. There's new ones been added all the time, and you can actually net yourself even 100 to 200k cash from just playing one game. It really helps increase the money you'll get by playing the maximum number of rounds as possible, so playing longer rounds will actually net you more cash. It's also worth staying with a dedicated team when you're playing adversary modes. You know, if you have a team with good communication, you're going to be stomping on a lot of solo players who'll be grouping together, because let's be honest, if you're playing on console, a lot of PlayStation and Xbox players actually don't use microphones, and especially if it's a new adversary mode, there's going to be a lot of solo players jumping in there to try out that adversary mode. So if you're together with a team or a bunch of friends, you're going to be really taking advantage of all those players that have no communication and really winning a lot of your rounds that you're going to be playing. At the number 8 spot is to take advantage of the premium races. So some of these are a bit easier than others. The one I'm showing you on screen was the most recent one I've completed, and that was in Mount Chiliad. It was basically a point-to-point with supercars. So I feel like these ones are probably the easiest with supercars. Most people tend to drive around supercars the most, so they're most comfortable when they're driving these. And this one was especially easy because it was non-contact, and so you don't have to worry about people shoving you off the edge of the map or anything. And it was also triple RP for playing, so it was also very good experience for playing this one. Basically, in the premium race, you'll need to pay the entrance fee of $20,000, and then the winner will get $100,000. So you'll be making a profit of $80,000 if you manage to get first place. So if you're a decent driver and can easily get yourself first or second place, then you're going to be in business. At the number 7 spot is to complete your daily objectives. So these were introduced quite a while ago now with the heist update and can be easily forgotten if you're not, I guess, paying attention to them. They probably on average take around 20 to 30 minutes per day to complete, so it's definitely worth, you know, setting aside a little bit of time in your play session each day to play through your daily objectives. And when you complete them in a row, you actually get a bonus. So there's a 7-day bonus. If you complete your daily objectives 7 days in a row, you'll get a bonus of $100,000. And then if you complete them 28 days in a row, you'll get a bonus of $500,000, which is a great chunk of money for just a little bit of time each day doing them. I guess the worst part about daily objectives is the fact that you can get really sort of specific versus missions or capture missions that you have to complete, and it can be a little bit tricky to find the right people to play with to get into that match quickly. But generally, if you have a quick complete guide, you can do these daily objectives quite quickly. I'll put a link in the description to the one I use to complete my daily objectives, as lots of tips and tricks depending on what daily objective you get, how to quickly complete it. At the number 6 spot are contact missions. Now these are not to be underestimated. These are actually very useful into reaching your first million in game. There's actually quite a few contact missions you should focus on in particular. Usually the people that play contact missions tend to know and vote the good ones, so tend to look out for the Los Santos connection. It's probably one of the better ones. There's also Mixed Up with Coke, Trash Talk, and Taking Out the Jury. Those are all very worth voting in and playing, and these can average between $80,000 to $100,000 an hour or $80 to $120,000 an hour if you're playing solo. And the number 5 spot is to start a biker MC business. There's a few different ones you can choose from. There's meth, weed, cash, coke. There's a few different businesses you can start. Eragon Huss, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, he did some amazing calculations on what actually the best business is for profit, and he worked out the cocaine business to be by far the best business for profitability. I'll put a link to his original post in the description if you want to read it in more detail. And the great thing about the biker businesses is it's such a passive business to own, you know, it basically runs itself and you just have to pick up some supplies every now and again to keep it going. So you should be making at least $50,000 per hour. Another great way to max your cash gain per hour is to consistently finish each mission at the 4-minute mark. At the number 3 spot is VIP work. This one was added in from the Executives and Other Criminals update and can actually net you $80,000 to $200,000 per hour if you're efficient. There are a few requirements to start your VIP work, so you'll either need 1 million cash in your bank account to start being a VIP, or you can start an organization as a CEO, which doesn't require the money to be in your bank account, but obviously to be a CEO you will need to buy an office, which does have that initial upfront investment. Basically, when you complete a job, you'll have a 5-minute cooldown before you can start another. And if you want to max out your cash gain per hour, there's a very handy wave method that was written up by Psycho that you can refer to if you want to avoid the usual countdown timer. It's a little complicated, but basically when you complete Sightseer, Headhunter will become available, and by the time you complete Headhunter, Hostile Takeover will be available after that, so there's a very handy wave trick that you can do to avoid that usual cooldown timer. Next up is the CEO work, where basically you fill your warehouses full of supplies. Now running crates to these warehouses can get a little bit tedious. I tend to use the buzzard to make things as fast as possible, and then when you fly close to your office, it'll actually give you the option to kind of quick skip for a fast landing. And there's actually a countdown timer, so having 2 warehouses to fill simultaneously can save you a lot of valuable time. Now believe it or not, but filling 2 warehouses simultaneously is still some of the fastest cash gains you can make per hour in GTA 5 today. You also want to make sure that you're only selling your warehouse when it's completely full to maximize your profits, and that way you get the most cash for your product. I'm also going to link in the description a very handy guide written up by Mark UKPC, who basically compared the 3 different crate options with regards to profit per hour. So you can be making between $150,000 to $200,000 per hour. Moving on to the number 2 spot. Now you might be surprised to see heists so far up this list, and although they're nothing new, they can still be a very powerful money making method. Now obviously you do not want to play this solo. Heists are very much dependent on teamwork, communication, having friends that are available to play at the times you're available, so you definitely want to have a reliable team for this. If you are a completely solo player, I'd completely recommend using a Reddit page called Heist Teams. I've used this multiple times myself when I want to play solo and don't have anyone to play with. There's always people looking on here for heist players on all platforms, and I've just about always had a good experience with everybody I've found on that Reddit page. It tends to be only people that looking on there that have mics and want to communicate and are experienced players anyway, so it's a great way to find other people to team up with. So I can't stress this enough, you do not want to use the normal matchmaking to find people to play with heists. Every time I've done this, I've found just trolls or people want to blow you up or ruin your time. So you want to find reliable people and be extra efficient when you're completing them, and that way you can maximize your profit per hour, and you should be making around $250,000 per hour with a good team if you stick to the Pacific Standard heist. And that leaves us with my number 1 money making method in GTA Online, and that is buying shark cards. That was just a joke, by the way. Basically, the number 1 money making method is to use the Import-Export Vehicle DLC. Now this is a very effective grinding routine that was written up by Gamiac. I'll show you guys the routine on screen, and this can net you over $420,000 per hour, so it's a very powerful technique to use. And the reason it works is once you have every low to mid-end car in your warehouse, you can start a cycle that basically gives you high-end cars. So you'll notice a bit of a pattern in this method, but it starts off by becoming a CEO, you'll then complete Headhunter, after that you'll sell a top-end car, you'll complete Sightseer and then Headhunter, and then you'll source a car, complete Sightseer, and then you'll sell your top-end car. And as you can see, it's quite similar to the way the wave trick worked previously with the VIP system I explained previously, but basically you want to follow this and you can avoid the CEO cooldown timers. So there you go guys, that was the top 10 money making methods that I've managed to find in GTA 5. If I have missed any, or if you have any ideas or tips or tricks for making money, be sure to leave them down in the comments section below. Maybe other people will benefit if you do have any good ideas for making money. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to take a few seconds to leave a like and also subscribe. I do a new countdown every single week so you don't want to miss out on any future ones. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you have an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Flipping cars, I did the scene. Flipping heist, yeah, with the team. You know me, got the antidote. I spit it sick, I'm in Los Santos. Dodging missiles, dodging bullets. Coming at me now, tell me to pull it. I'm a G, DOA, silent core in GTA.